Now let me get the screen share. I'm just going to pull this up. Many of you may have been aware of this already. Escalation clause. In simple terms, here's what an escalation clause is. It's saying that, hey, seller, if you get multiple offers, we're willing to do a certain increase, and we may or may not guarantee the price that we've offered. So that's what you have to take a look at with the escalation clause. Now, this is one that has been put together. It is from, I'm going to say, a compilation number of escalation clauses that I've been with, what I've seen. And so know that it should be in either Transaction Desk or in Remind Docs Plus as a clause. And time permitting, we may even log in to show you very quickly how to do that. But let's just go through this and how we would use this very simple tool, and then we can talk and answer any questions that may come up. But it says simply this: if prior to the seller's ratification of the contract, the seller receives one or more additional written bona fide offers to purchase a property with terms acceptable to the seller, otherwise known as other offers, and from which seller would receive an equal or higher net. Now, this is a key that is different from many others. So you can't use somebody that's asking for 6% on an FHA against us. So we're dealing with the net rather than just the offer price itself. So should receive an equal or higher net than the net reflected in this offer, then the contract sales price shall automatically increase by blank amount of dollars. Now that's what we have to determine with the buyer, what they want to do. Then we have above any other offer net to seller not to exceed a maximum sale price of. So we're saying you got an offer that nets you 100,000. We're going to net you blank dollars more. That could be 1,000, it could be 500, it could be anything, but obviously we have to make it an amount that would make it worthwhile for the seller accepting your offer over and above any other offer. Then we're going to cap it so that it's not going above what the buyer is capable or willing to do. If the other offer includes escalation terms, this is another thing that is in this clause that I have not seen in many others. This automatic increase will be applied to the maximum sale price of the highest competing escalation addendum. So we're not the only ones that are using an escalation clause. Others are out there doing the same. And if so, we're just stating very clearly that here's how it will work. Now, what you have is there's two paragraphs right here. And as I've highlighted it here, and you should see in the addendum or in the clauses, you would need to delete this highlighted line that I have here. It's not going to be highlighted in the library. Either Transaction Desk, Realcom, this is not highlighted. This would have to be deleted along with the appropriate paragraph being deleted. So which one of these am I going to use? Well, one says purchaser waives the appraisal valuation. If the lender's appraisal is less than the agreed sales price, the purchaser agrees to proceed with the settlement and pay up to blank dollars difference from the amount of the lender's appraisal, and that would be in cash. If settlement does not occur due to the purchaser's failure to comply with the terms of this paragraph, the purchaser shall be in default and shall forfeit their earnest money deposit. So we're going out there very confidently to the seller and saying, hey, we're confident enough that we're willing to give up our earnest money deposit if for some reason this doesn't close. So it's another part to the escalation clause different than others. It's a very strong position that it's putting you into. Now, the other option is purchaser retains the appraisal. The appraisal language from the above referenced contract will remain in full force and effect. Purchase agreement to remain contingent upon subject property appraising for a minimum of the sales price. Obviously, it's not as strong as if we use the other clause. If I'm to use the other clause, I simply take and I would then highlight, delete that out. Obviously, I'm going to take this, delete it out. Obviously, I have to put something, whatever the amount is going to be that they're going to agree to. I would do the same thing up here. And this is the simplicity of also while it's in either Transaction Desk or Remind Docs Plus. So then the simple part, seller will provide a copy of the other offer with higher net price with this escalation addendum. Any change in the sale price under this addendum will be effective and binding upon seller and purchaser when seller has ratified this contract and this addendum at the above escalated sales price. I think that's pretty much simple. It says it's binding as soon as we say yes to it. Purchaser and seller agree to initial these changes to the price and to the financing paragraph and or counteroffer section of the contract upon request by either party. So it should be done. If we're making any change, here's what we know. If we're making any change to a purchase agreement, then that change constitutes a counteroffer. If you will, they've actually rejected the initial offer and have made a counteroffer back to the purchaser. Purchaser is made of his own volition and discretion. Purchaser and seller agree to hold agents and their respective brokers harmless with regard to this sale price negotiation. So it's a simple document to be able to use. And the only thing that we need to remember is to make sure that we fill in the proper blanks where the X's are and to eliminate one of the two paragraphs that are there. With that, I'll open it up for any questions that may be out there. Can you send this document via email? First, lovingly, I'm going to say, step into the 21st century and use Transaction Desk or use the Remind Docs Plus. So I say that lovingly, don't hate me, right? I don't have Remind. So Transaction Desk will do the same thing. So anyway, the answer is yes. You're going to simply fill in the appropriate blanks, take care of the elimination of the proper clause, and then have it signed, scan it, fax it.
So this is
verbiage.
Oh, sorry. So this is verbiage that go in an addendum. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because there's too much to put it onto the purchase agreement itself. So we've only got paragraph 37 to be able to put anything into. And this paragraph has got too many characters and won't fit within that space. So it would have to go over to an addendum.
Okay.
Great question. Janice, you should have that. I can see your question there. Jeremy definitely would have this paragraph. Let's see, please role play when two escalation clause offers are submitted, one with a maximum of 225 and a second of 250. So am I the 250 or am I the 225 on that, Val?
I just wanted to, I've had that happen where I've been on the seller side and I've had two escalation clauses and, we just went to the maximum on both of them, but you've got a statement in there about exceeding the maximum. So that's the part I was curious on, how that plays out.
Yeah. So what it would be is that paragraph right here is saying not to exceed a maximum sale price of 225. So the 250 is going to beat me. If that were reversed and five. Your audio stoppy, as did my froze. Am I back? Are we hearing me? A thumbs up? Did everything freeze? It looks like I've frozen.
Your uploading speed.
Yeah, well, everything dropped. So let me go back to that. There's probably too many people on the same internet here. So let me go back over that again. So I made the adjustment here to say that, let's say we cap out, we're saying a maximum sale price of 250. And the 25, in which case I would have 2,500 above the 225, which would put us at the 227.5. And again, that's if the seller elects to go with either of the offers. They obviously still can do whatever they want, but they know what we're fully willing to do when we use this escalation clause. If you were using something of fewer words, you're probably leaving yourself out for much more liability or the potential of litigation, because you're leaving too many things open for interpretation. So that would be the thought to this one. How about any other questions that are out there?
Is this something new? Because I've done a couple escalation clauses and I've never seen this. I did my own verbiage that I was told.
I think it kind of got distributed out to everybody, Shelley, in November. So I had put it into both the Century 21 main library and the Coldwell Banker main library. If it's not there, I simply need to just know and I can put it back in. But I know Tom is here in Troy, and Tom actually brought me this escalation clause on paper printed out. So it's out there. I don't know if it got distributed to everyone, but it is there.
I did one last week, and but I did it off the PA. So we have to do an addendum now, not in the box on the purchase agreement.
If it would fit, but this particular one doesn't fit. Too many characters.
So is the one in Remind still valid, or this one's better?
As far as I know, this is one that's in Remind for both brands. If it's not, let me know, and I will look to the other one and see what differences may be. But this is the most extensive one that I've actually seen. And this came together from looking at a number of escalation clauses that were out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, Holly, great question. And the answer is definitely saying the net. So what we're really addressing is the aspect of seller concessions. So a $100,000 offer or $105,000 with the seller giving $5,000 back, we're really talking, we're not going to have to go to the 105 and beat it by 2,500. It would be that we're willing to beat and add 2,500 to our $100,000 offer. Those two offers were really the same. So is what I'm saying. So what else you got out there, guys? Either in the chat or just take yourself off mute. Wow, I broke up again. So anyway, yes, net, not the 105 and add 2,500 to it. The net on $105,000 with 5,000 back would be 100,000. Otherwise, our offer was the same as the 105, but we're not going to have to go to 107.5. We would go to 102.5. Any other questions? It's always to see so many of you are aware of this. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew, spread the word. Obviously, there's been some who weren't aware of this particular escalation clause. We just need to make sure that we use it. I think it's one that's going to safeguard us the most, because anything that we write up, beyond what is boilerplate on a purchase agreement, well, it leaves us open. Don't be writing up your own. Make sure that we put it out there the way that we need that. So, gang, I'm going to consider that we're probably good then. We're finishing up a little bit short, but as we said with every Hot Topic Tuesday, we know that they're going to last somewhere 15 to 30 minutes is typical. And after that, we're going to call it good. So if you have no other questions, I am going to say have a fantastic Tuesday. Go out there, find the listings. Going to see many of you tomorrow. Boot camp kicks in, and we'll really work on being able to get the listings there. Any other thoughts for future hot topics? Put it into the chat room. Send me an email. Either way is going to be great. I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.